What's good? My name is Barrett Miller. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have a very special guest. But first of all, happy holidays to y'all. I know this is a very crazy season that we're in right now, the whole world. But I hope your Thanksgiving went well. Hope y'all Thanksgiving was filled with love and family and friends, even though we're all separated. I hope y'all had a very blessed and loving Thanksgiving. But we back. So back in October, I had the opportunity to interview one of the most accomplished and multi-hyphenated entertainers of our generation. Her unique talent has been received so well by the hearts of her viewers over the years, as she's been nominated for multiple BET Awards, NAACP Image Awards. She's been nominated for a couple of voice acting awards, even a Kids' Choice Awards, Black Film, Black Movie Awards. She's dope. She's been nominated for an Emmy Award for her role as a talk show host for Good Morning America with co-hosts Michael Strahan and Sarah Haynes. That's a major move, but she's also had success hosting her own talk show, Just Keke, back in 2014 on BET, which made her the youngest talk show host in television history. Yes, everyone knows the many influential roles and characters she has played over the years in Akeelah and the Bee, True Jackson VP, and Jump In. Honestly, True Jackson VP and Akeelah and the Bee did it for me. She's been GOAT status in my book for a long time now, but she continues to exceed expectations as she just takes on more major roles in more recent films, such as Hustlers with Cardi B, Lizzo, and J-Lo.
I thought we were just gonna leave him here.
We can't just leave him.
I'm not going inside.
Mercedes, this is a business.
No!
Mercedes?
Pimp, in which she produced and starred in, and even the Proud Family Reboot, which she has a major voice acting role in. Her crossover success in different areas of entertainment has solidified her as one of the GOATs with a jaw-dropping resume and a huge personality that brings life to every room she enters. She has shown the world where dedicating yourself to what you love can get you, no matter what season of your life you happen to be in. It is my pleasure, y'all, to welcome one of the most beloved entertainers of our generation, award-winning actress, Keke Palmer.
Hey, what's the, oh my gosh, first of all, Barrett, that intro that you gave me was too sweet. I love for all of that love that you gave me. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you for all you've done. Like, that was just you. Like, that was all you. I didn't do anything. That was all you. That was all you. How are you doing, Keke? Thank you so much for coming. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I wish I could be there in person. I'm happy to be talking to y'all. Right now I'm in Savannah, Georgia, in my trailer filming this new movie, Atlas.
That's what's up.
That's my mom.
Hey, I see your mom just came. Hey, mama, how you doing?
Drinking water. Gotta stay hydrated.
Right. I got my water right here too.
That's right.
For sure. All right. So, yeah, man, the things you've been able to accomplish over the years, it's nothing short of amazing, Keke. And what amazes me the most is you've been starring in movies since you were 12, like with Akeelah and the Bee, obviously. And from there, you found success in music and TV show hosting, voice acting, and all these different facets of entertainment. But you fell in love with music first, is what I've learned about you. So what got you started singing and acting at such a young age?
So really my parents, they actually met during a speech tournament. So they were actors, but my mom also was an aspiring musician as well. So she also recorded in the studios. And, so the arts was something that always was spoken about in our household. And I remember my family, my mom and dad took us to see our first little musical when we were kids. It was the Jackie Wilson Story in a Chicago Black Ensemble Theater. And I think that music stuff was always around me. I heard of acting and stuff like that. And I grew up in a church and my mom was a choir director. So I always was singing and I would always see my mom singing in church. And it always would just make me be like, I want to do that. You know what I mean? And that's when I first tapped into like my creativity or music or anything like that. And I knew from singing in the church early on and like little school plays that, okay, singing, I like singing and people like that from me. But it wasn't until my parents were reading in the newspapers when I was like 9 and they saw casting for, 10-year-old, 4 foot, whatever inches, can sing and dance and act for Nala and the Lion King. And my mom was like, okay, Keke liked to sing and dance and stuff. You know, maybe this is something for us to do as a family on a Sunday. And so we went down and like, I made it far, but not really, you know, I didn't get the role. And I was a little bit sad. But from there, that's when I was like, Mom, what can I do to keep on acting? And, you know, I discovered acting finally and what they had been talking about all those years. And then I started falling in love with that as well.
Right. That's amazing. And I love how your family has always kind of like cultured that artistic side of you.
Oh, yeah.
With the singing and with the acting, because both your parents, you know, they acted. So your family's has always been around that. So I love that they kind of cultured that in your household. So you come from a family who loves arts. Your mother was a singer and actress. Your dad was an actor as well. So you were just always in a setting where artistic, you know, expression was encouraged. But not only that, your family actually moved from Little Old Robbins, Illinois, to California to provide you with more opportunities. So it's like what role did your mother and the rest of your family kind of play in the early successes that you had as a child actress and recording artist, nurturing your creativity and providing opportunities for you?
They played every part. First of all, you know, everybody made sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? Like when I think about the sacrifices that not only my mom and dad made, you know, with just picking up their life and moving, but, you know, my dad took out his pension so he'd have money to survive and live off of. I mean, he took a huge gamble walking away from his job. You know, my mom sacrificed a lot, spending so much time with me and working with me on the, you know, my dialogue and just, you know, being my acting coach, as well as being a full-time mom. And then my sister and brother, siblings, they always, you know, understood how much this meant to me and how serious I was about it. And all the opportunities that it gave us when it came to, you know, once we moved out of Robbins, all the different things that we were. So we all made a sacrifice for hopefully the better for us all. And I really appreciate my family for doing that. And I'm just very thankful to them. There's no way that I could really repay them, honestly.
That's amazing. That is amazing, man. God bless family who
family
who really like culture what you love doing and stick with you through it all. Like that's a blessing.
And what's so amazing about it too, you know, is that for my mom and my dad, they were so much of that for each other. You know, they were the kids in a family where it was like they was the dreamers, you know, and you know, you got that family, especially when you're living kind of like in poverty, you know, everybody that dream, they kind of be laughed at, you know, it's like, ain't nobody gonna be, you ain't gonna be no so. And that's kind of how people were always to my mom and my dad. But my mom and my dad, even though they didn't continue and they decided to just kind of focus on their family, they still kept the dreamer spirit alive. And I think that's it's interesting how God works like that because, you know, they still got to see that was true all those years in between, whether people doubted them or doubted their belief in what was there, you know, it all came to in the end.
Right. And that's powerful because your mom, let me tell you one thing about your mom. Your mom is amazing. Like every step of the way your mom has been there. And if I'm not mistaken, she's also your manager, right?
Yes, my mom is literally my partner in life. Like she's trained me. Like I feel like she's everything. I feel like she's like my mentor, my trainer, my disciplinarian. Like she's everything to me.
Yeah, that's dope. And I see you like you and your mama. I don't know if you know this, but you and your mama act alike in a lot of different ways. I'll be on Instagram Live. And I'd be like, yo, they're the same person, yo. It's so funny. So it's so beautiful to see like the instrumental role that she's played in your career, in your life, yo. That's so dope to see that mom-daughter connection. So that is dope. That is dope.
Thank you. I think it took me years really to realize, Barrett, how special it was because we get so hard on our parents and we start growing up and being our own people and want our own identity. And sometimes we just forget that our parents are human and that they were our first heroes and that they're not perfect. But, you know, we just realize that, you know, we realize. And, you know, I'm very thankful because not only do I have a great mom, but we also have been able to relate on a passion together. And that is something that I really am glad I've gotten to experience for sure.
Yes. That's dope. That's dope. So you've obviously been doing this for a long time. I'm sure you've been on many sets with a lot of the big names. I know you've ran across a couple huge names. So growing up in the industry, you've been in sets in certain rooms with these people, like some like the biggest entertainers out there. So who were some of your personal like inspirations that you actually got to meet or work with?
Most definitely Queen Latifah. Most definitely.
Oh man. Yeah.
I've got to work with her on several different occasions throughout my career, by the grace of God. And each and every time she has been a major influence and has just truly impacted me and took time to, she just is always willing to offer nuggets of wisdom. And it's never in a way of like, let me give you some wisdom. It's just like, hey, how you doing, Keke? I seen what you did there. And, we was watching you and keep, it's always something to just let me know that the sisters got me and that, we out here, we, she just always gave me that look. Cause sometimes it is hard and you do feel, you can feel lonely when you're stepping into these new spaces, especially for me coming from Robbins, a Black girl, and Illinois is very segregated. So there's already that energy there, but you're going to this big Hollywood world and all these different people and all that stuff. So for me, when I started going to those movie premieres and stuff like that, I would look and I would see Queen and Queen would acknowledge me. That really, that gave me, first of all, it was awesome for me as a kid to feel that. But then for me when I get older, as I started to grow and get older and started to notice other kids, looking at me the same way I looked at Queen, I remember what Queen did and how important it was to me. So I appreciate Queen for that, for just everything she taught me in every way. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. Queen Latifah is one of the GOATs.
Yeah, she really is. And people don't even know like how much she's really like Brotherly Love. She's the reason I got to do Brotherly Love, Joyful Noise. She made sure I was Joyful Noise. She really people and paves the way. She's one of those people that creates opportunities that are not there for young Black people. For sure. I think that's especially important. Black women to Black girls, especially kind of like showing you the ropes in the industry at just like a young age, especially being a little Black girl from a small city going to touch a huge new world. I mean, I'm sure it was a culture shock for both you and your family. You know what I'm saying? Yes. But for her to kind of like see you grow and see how far you've come, I'm sure she, y'all still keep in touch. I'm sure she's proud of you as far as that goes as well. So yeah, I mean, we all proud of you. We all seen it, man. So we all seen it. I actually got the awesome opportunity to read your book. I Don't Belong to You. What I tell you, and it's even a better experience listening to you say it when you read it than I think. Because I mean, we have the actual physical copy, but listening to like everything, your inflections, and then how you say things, and then how you're so dramatic, and then how you like soften up and somber and certain words, it is a whole experience. And I think like out of everyone I could have read a book read to me, I didn't even know it was you. The whole time it was you, Keke. It was you. So your book, amazing. You tackled all kinds of different things in the book. But I want to zone in on something specifically. Like you talk about how there was a certain point in your teenage years where you looked for help outside your family for things you were experiencing because you were having some trouble with, thoughts and different things like anxiety and things of that nature. I think it's really important and it's great that you put that in your book and had like highlighted because a lot of, how our community is with the whole mental health thing. Yeah. So someone as big and as accomplished and as strong and graceful as you to kind of put that in the book and remind people that you are human as well, I think what was a dope thing to include. So I just want to kind of talk about that. What age were you when you first started to notice like the depression and anxiety was something that you were struggling with? I think I started to feel the harsh effects of it. Like when I was about 12 or 13, I started to start to feel really intense versions of like anxiety and stress that I wasn't able to identify with. So I lived with that and holding on to those feelings like that from the ages of 12 to 17. And then at 17, it was like I was at combustion mode. And, for me, it was really just so much adult living and then not being able to be a kid and being put in a position where I have to sacrifice one thing I love for essentially a normal childhood, right, as well as trying to always make people happy, but, growing into who I am as an adult woman and not just that little kid, that is just supposed to do what everybody says, So it was just a lot of different things that I was going through. And then also generational traumas, just like things that are within your lineage that you didn't realize, that no one ever spoke about. I always speak of it kind of like that movie, The Conjuring, when that lady finally names the demons. Like, you got to find the demon and find the name before you can cast it out. That's kind of how I feel it is, for people, just human beings with generational curses or just, trauma that they hold on to. It's like, you've got to, know it. You got to name it. You got to say, I'm depressed. And then you can cast it out. You got to say, I have anxiety. And, I started to just do a lot of research. I put, my feelings in Google. I used to put my feelings in Google, like, whatever I was thinking, I'll put, and then different quotes would come up. And then I started understanding these different words like stress. I was like, stress, this is what I'm having. So I was like, anxiety. What's anxiety caused by stress? Stress is caused by workload. Am I going through, and I started realizing that everything was normal. I started realizing that everything that I was going through, I was not new as a human being to go through it. These were things that people like Aristotle were talking about, and, Gandhi and Buddha and Jesus. So I'm like, this is not new, but it's just being, people find it or understand it differently or come to their, whatever. And so I just started, unpacking all that. And I wanted to write it in the book because I think a lot of people have so many misconceptions about celebrities, but people admire what celebrities have been able to achieve. But the reality is a celebrity is just like you.
Right.
And so for me, I just wanted people to I wanted to show people my flaws so they could know whether they want to be an entertainer or a scientist or whatever it is that, it's okay to be imperfect, but it's acknowledging your imperfections, facing them head on.
Right.
That's what's going to help you get to where you want to go. And also help you identify who you truly are and what you truly want out of life. You may, when I walked out of this transition for myself, I came out thinking a lot more clearer about my life. Right. Since I've started to actively tackle the things that stand in my way, whether it be my health, my toxic thinking, friends that I need to get rid of, shows that I need to stop watching. When I start doing all of that, then I become ready to walk into what God has for me. And so for me, embarking on that human journey, finally, awarely, even though it's going to always be an up and down, I just wanted to offer that book as like my first introduction to that adulting chapter. And like, yo, I'm here, we in this together. And, hey, let's just do our best, right?
Right. That's all you can do. And I think there's something to be said there too, because it's like you took those journal entries and you took those things that you had written down over the years and you put them in your book. There's something about writing these things down. Like there's something about just writing it down. Like I say people who journal were just bored. You know what I'm saying? Until I tried it. I sat in my room and I don't know, you probably can relate. It's like when you're like, all right, I'm gonna just write something. And you end up writing a whole book about your day and everything you felt and everything, why your mom made you mad and every little thing, like it comes out. And after you're done, it's like, wow, like
it's out.
Amazing.
You're getting it out. You're getting it out, whatever way that you feel best. Like, and then I remember for me, like when I started journaling and stuff like that, that's what it was, just to get it out because I had nobody to talk to. And then I would always be so scared with the whole celebrity thing that everybody was out to get me. And so I just felt like if I told anybody that they would try to come for me and my family. So I felt extreme sense of loneliness. I mean, it's the type of loneliness I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Wow. And I would just write in my journal about everything that's happening and how I was feeling. And then I wouldn't go back to those pages. But when I wrote my book, I went back to those pages. Lo and behold, I saw when I started to build every single wall and why.
Wow.
And then first I was purging and crying tears like, this is why I do this to people now. And this is why I no longer feel this way about that now. And I was crying and then I got angry. And I was like mad at everybody that ever did something to me that hurt me and angry about everything. And then I said, you know what? I cannot own the things that people have done to me. That's not my weight to carry. I cannot allow that to be a representation of how I should feel about myself.
100%.
You know, sometimes we carry stuff that we don't even know we carrying. But when I look back in those pages, I realized I was holding on to every damn thing that somebody did that hurt me. And I'm like, no wonder I'm tired. You know, I'm holding on to too much.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, like, whew. Yes, journal. Y'all, man, journal.
You know why? Because it's the pathway to your life. Sometimes you're going through so much that honestly, the best thing to do is to not pay attention to the emotion and to be strong. But if you write it out, if you put your notes down, if you do a song, if you take a picture, if you do something to remind yourself of where you came from, where you're going, and where you don't want to be again, or where you know, or what you got to unlearn. And it really is a good way to keep in touch with yourself. You know, talking to yourself. Prayer, meditation, yoga, all that stuff is like seriously legit. I'm not kidding.
She's not lying. Like all of it. Like just find something. And then again, like when you do get it out and you're able to have a diary or a journal and you know, you might be going through it just for you to be able to look back. I'm kind of like, wow, like I really went through this and I'm here, I'm fine, I'm good. Just for you to like take down notes on where you were and realize, wow, I'm right here. I'm alive. I didn't die. I didn't lose myself. I'm here. Like it's something liberating about journaling and seeing where you were and then where you're going when you do get through it. Cause it all passes. It all has to pass.
It all has to pass.
It all has to pass.
You can't say that, you know, yeah. And guess what? That's true on the up end too. I try to say too with life, you know, it has ups and downs, meaning the ups aren't going to last forever and neither are the downs. Yeah. But when we stay even flow, when we got our crew, when we know how to maintain ourselves, then it's like, of course, this isn't perfect. It's easier said than done. But like, that's the goal, is to make sure we good, whether we got $100 in our pockets or $1 million in our pockets. That was another thing that used to always scare me too, growing up, you know, being kind of like the financial breadwinner in my family, because it got to the point where the family had to focus on the business, because the business otherwise we was going to be drowned in the business. So everybody had to, you know, come into it. And so I was the financial breadwinner. And for me, a long time, it was like, I was really wanting to focus on making sure that me, Keke, would be okay if I was never making money at the same level I was making when I was doing True Jackson BP. You know, because the reality is, you know, whether you look at entertainment industry as something aspirational or not, or crazy cool or not, it has ebbs and flows, just like anybody else does. Nothing's ever going to be at this level forever. It's going to always be up and down. And so that was something that I had to learn very early on, that I got to be good, whether I have a #1 show or no show.
Yes.
You know? And that's really a big part of why I did so much soul searching, is because by the time of 18, I had experienced already an extreme version of success that I knew can't last forever. So I really didn't want to ever feel like that should validate me. Right. So I really tried to get really deep to understand what does validate me, and what's in my actual control. And so I just had to do really a lot of soul searching.
Amazing. Oh man, you done preached the word, man. We didn't turn this thing into Sunday service, man.
You know, I can't lie, love. I got to keep it real.
Gotta keep it real, man. Everything you said, 100% agree. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't attach yourself to things that come and go. You gotta attach to something that stays, whatever that might be for you. You gotta attach yourself to things that don't, because everything in life comes and goes. These material, money, girlfriends, boyfriends, relationships, they all come and go. So yes, you got to find something to hang on that's going to stay. And usually that comes within here, not anything out here. It comes within here usually. So yes. But I want to move on and talk about some other things about in your book. So luckily, me personally, I've been blessed with the opportunity to attend a university where I've met so many like dope people who've taught me a lot about myself, whether it be for better or for worse. When my parents used to tell me to stop hanging out with certain people or like be so strict about who I would be around as a kid and as like a teenager, I would think they tripping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why you tweaking on me? But as I've grown these past 4 years and spent time away from home, and I got to really pick and choose who I spend my time around, and who I talk to every day and who I study with, and all these things, I realized the importance of surrounding yourself with who you want to eventually be. Like my dad used to always tell me, like, you should never be the smartest person in your friend group. He used to tell me, if you are the smartest person in your friend group, you need to kick them to the curb and leave, because they ain't good nothing for you. You feel me? So I used to be like, you doing too much, but now I know, like, the people who you are around, you know what I'm saying? So my question to you is, talk about your inner circle of friends, and has it changed much over the years as you gain the amount of success that you have? And what do you think the importance is of being mindful of who you keep in your inner circle?
Friends are for a season. Some are for a lifetime, but some are for a season, and it's fine either way it goes. But I have learned very much so the same sentiment of what your dad has said, which is that, if the people you're around aren't inspiring you, then what is the point? What is y'all talking about? It's almost like when you think about food, like if the food you eat ain't giving you energy, then what you eat? It's kind of like that. And, I learned the hard way myself, because I also was that kind of person where I always kind of felt like, I just want everybody to have what I have, and I would always kind of, want to just, but I would find myself in a situation giving to people that were just taking and taking and taking.
Right. And was not giving nothing back.
It wasn't giving me nothing. I'm not talking about literally giving me something back. I mean, literally giving me energy back. Like literally they were draining my energy and had nothing to offer me. No conversation. It was just nothing. And, I just realized that it wasn't helping me. It got to the point where I think I must have just matured a little bit more and realized, that I really deserve people in my life that really care about me, that I don't have to convince, that I'm special or important or worth paying attention to. Sometimes, again, I think it all falls back to a lot of what I was talking about, when I started writing I Don't Belong to You, Quiet the Noise and Find Your Voice. The quieting the noise and the finding my voice led me to the like-minded people. And once I started finding my voice, it just was like anything that led me away from that became immediately unattractive, uninteresting. It's like I became literally on a new wavelength. I think it's like you can't rush yourself with whatever that is. No one can tell you that the people around you are good or not. Only you can distinguish that.
Yeah.
And it really comes from just like clarity with yourself and where you're going. As I started to work on myself, I became so clear where I was going and what I wanted. And so when people weren't in line with that, it wasn't nothing against them. It was just like, we don't have nothing in common, So why force it? And when you find yourself forcing it with people that you don't have it in common with, then you have to ask yourself, what's with that?
Right. And everything in my head, everything is energy. So like you kind of feel these things, like you feel these things like, wow, like I spent the whole day with so-and-so and we were doing things and I just didn't feel like I couldn't be myself. I just wasn't feeling it. Like as you go through, different friend groups and as you go through life, you kind of can look back and be like, those friends, they ain't really, you know what I'm saying? So now you have the ammo next time as you're entering to new spaces. Okay, now I can go with it with an awareness of mine of like, all right, this is who I choose to spend my energy with and choose to spend my time around. So I think that's very, very important, very important. And I know it was extra hard for you who had, bunch of, fake people, people coming in wanting things from you and not giving anything back to you. So, I can only imagine how hard it was for you, especially at that young age that you were. My next question, one of my favorite projects from you is actually Turned Up with the Taylors, yo. Like,
oh my gosh.
That series, that series is honestly one of my favorite Keke Palmer projects, period.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's like the amount of different characters and different like versions of you that we see, like it's and they're all played by the same person. It's so simple, but it's just like, wow, this is actually hilarious. This is actually gold. So I love it. And you've done other projects as well. Like I said before, you've co-hosted whole talk shows. You hosted the VMAs recently. You're working on Alice, the new movie. So it's like, you are such a diversified talent, and you're also a great recording artist. So you're such a diversified talent. You act, sing, you produce, you write. But many people would say, especially when you are first entering a field, kind of like how a lot of us college students are, when we're first entering a field, you should solely be focusing on one thing at a time. You know what I'm saying? So How important was it for you to cultivate the many talents that you have had over the years?
Yeah, I mean, it was like if I didn't show all my talents, then I would not have all the jobs that I've had. It's like I had to, otherwise I wasn't going to be able to do what I loved. If I only limited myself to acting, then I would have never been able to do Grease Live.
Exactly.
If I only limited myself to musicals, then I wouldn't have been able to do TLC. It's just like I just, I love to do all these things, and I just felt like, this is what's available. I think it is something true to the concept that, like, you have to. You have to know what you're talking about and doing and focus on something before you can jump into something else. I think that is true. But, you can tend to things at the same time. Right. You just have to tamper with the percentage. I have always acted at 95%, but music a lot of times has gotten 10%, and dancing has gotten 30%, but there was one season where dancing was 80%. It's like you pick times. That's why I say a team and scheduling is so important. And then you let God handle the rest, because if you have these other interests, it's okay to dip your feet in and out of them and, get a little bit wet here and there. Just because you sing, act, do comedy, X, Y, and Z, it don't mean you have to film the movie and the TV show and the stand-up special in the same year. Right. You can be a bunch of things, but you can gradually expand in all of them.
Social media, you kill social media. I love following you. I love your lives. I love your videos. I love just when you talk. So how has social media allow you to kind of connect and express the humanity aspect of yourself?
So much,
Palmer, to your fan base.
Social media is what created the show Just Keke. It's what created my hosting career. Right. Social media and the conversations that I was able to have with my generation, because I was going through a lot of the things we were talking about, the themes I was dealing with during the, when I wrote I Don't Belong to You, and a lot of other people my age were dealing with the same stuff. And I just saw that we online were talking about so many things that you never see us talking about on TV. And so, for me, social media, obviously, like anything that's good, is a double-edged sword. And you do have some crazy stuff sometimes, and you do have to pick your time where you take the more serious conversations to social media, because sometimes social media can turn everything to a joke. I love the jokes, but I've had to try to realize how I can engage my peers and talk about the things and actually get their perspective, right. But then understand that there will be another place or a platform or something that sometimes I have to take it to in order to have a bigger conversation, which is why I love the talk show and love that space, because it allows me to take it from some place where context can get kind of redistributed to a space where it can be a little bit more, official. And so I love social media. I love social media, but I do believe it's important to take breaks, and it's important to know what you're trying to portray on social media. Like I have a Facebook, but my Facebook is for my family and my friends. Right. Instagram is for my business and my work. So I'm very clear with myself too on what those lines are.
Do you take a lot of like social media breaks? Like how, cause I know people take social media, especially like celebrities. But like, do you take a lot of social media breaks?
I do take social media breaks, but my social media breaks, sometimes they're like involuntary. It's just I kind of get bored with it and I'm really just focused on some other stuff. Sometimes, I'm not, how it is. You just like social media, it ain't been on my mind lately. Yeah. But then other times, it's because I'm too busy and I have other people that post for me too. Like, I also run my social media page as its own network. So sometimes I'll have a bunch of different shows or ideas I turned up with the Taylors that I'll pilot, but I'll shoot them like in one day. And then I upload them and premiere them and stuff like that and kind of just get feedback. So a lot of times I'm not active because I'm premiering a lot of stuff. And seeing what the fans are liking and engaging with.
Gotcha. Well, keep it up, because we love Keke on Instagram and Twitter. We love it.
I mean, just trying to give y'all the entertainment. Like, it's just, I admire so much stuff. Like, I'm really, I feel like if I went to normal school, I would have been a drama nerd. Like, I truly love art and entertainment, and being able to send like messages and social commentary and put that kind of stuff through to my work. So when I do stuff, you know, especially having been in the industry almost 20 years at this point, I really can't wait till I get to the position where I'm really able to produce, you know, and put on my own productions that I'm not starring in. Right, so we can give the content that we was loving back in the 90s. I want to be able to recreate some of those feelings that we got back then with those coming of age stories, you know, in television shows.
Right. And I can't wait to see that full circle of your career, how you know, you started off so young, acting, you did the
I can't wait to hang it up, y'all.
I can't wait for you to full circle it back around to being behind the camera and what you do behind the camera and bringing in different actresses and younger talents and showing them the rock. I can't wait to see that.
Y'all not ready for me to find little Keke. Y'all not ready for Keke number 2. She's out there. We're finding her.
I can't wait for the OG to Keke to pop out because that's gonna be something serious. That's gonna be something serious. Yeah.
With my director glasses on. Don't play with me.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. But let's talk about your music. Because again, music was your very first passion. It was your first love. So you recently in August dropped some heat on our heads. Okay. Virgo Tendencies Pt.1. Okay.
Yes.
I love what you did with the vibe, and then the skits were taking me out. I love every single like second of that joint. So talk about how the EP kind of like came about. That
it really fell together because I'll be honest, like I was saying, sometimes I get, you know, be so caught up in my traditional work. I really do let God guide me, meaning wherever the thing is led, you know, whatever project ends up coming up first, that's the one I focus on first. You know, I don't really choose it. I let it choose me. And so I was really I got wrapped up in my talk show that I wasn't having all the time that I needed to go back to Atlanta, work on my music and just do all the stuff. I couldn't travel as much. So the music I had all, you know, had worked on and gotten together, it was all, a lot of it was there, but I didn't get a chance to really kind of put it together in a project. Right. So then the pandemic happened and we were all in quarantine, and the only thing that I could do was my music. Everything else was inaccessible, especially traditional work. And so I, you know, started working on the music again and like really, you know, kind of honing into what I was needing. And that's what came about. That's what became Virgo Tendencies Pt.1, which is kind of more lighthearted, upbeat. It has like a little sense of comedy, kind of like similar to like comedy albums, a little nod to that, and really just kind of energy that I wanted to give because that's what I was needing, especially in the beginning of quarantine. Like I just couldn't take any more sad stuff. It was just like, let me turn up, like let me twerk it first, let me get fit, like let me just do something fun and just chill and like laugh and just escape. And that's what Virgo did. Like some of the songs I had before and then some of the songs I had done during quarantine, like Thick, I did Thick then, and Sticky and a couple of other records. But Virgo Tendencies Pt.1 is getting ready to come out in this. I mean, excuse me, Part 2 is getting ready to come out in December, and that's a lot more of vibe. It's a little bit more chill. You know, cut up with your boo, or maybe not, and be drinking your hot chocolate. So that's a little bit more of the like, you know, reflective side. You know, not as upbeat.
Right. Okay. So they're getting different vibes from Keke on this one. More chill, laid back. It's getting cold outside. I feel it.
Okay.
So I just wanted to also know, going back to the music tip. So I know you worked with the great Tasha Couture on this one. She's amazing. You know, if y'all don't know who Tasha is, she's an Atlanta producer who worked with artists like Future, Young Nudy.
She's amazing, a female producer, but she really makes a lot of dope, like trap.
Dope beats. And she's just a dope artist herself. So I just want to know, so I know you worked with her, and she kind of helped you with the sound of the project.
Absolutely.
But, what are some artists in the game that you have that have influenced your sound when it comes to your music? You know, who were some artists that you kind of look into as far as influences?
I mean, Brandy has influenced me even when I'm not realizing it. So Brandy just number one because I listened to her so much growing up that it was just like, I mean, that is what music is to me. So much of what R&B music is to me.
Right.
Is, you know, as well as, you know, the people that have influenced my music. I mean, someone who we don't mention anymore, but Kales, that was a lot of what influenced my sound. So very like soulful old R&B, but I still mix it with different influences of today. Like, you know,
Right.
we have new things that interest me. That was kind of the big reason why I went down to Atlanta initially was because of how the trap sound was inspiring me, but I wanted to put my vibe on top of it. And that's how me and Tasha kind of became, you know, started to collab. But yeah, I mean, and look, I'm also that experimental. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I would be willing to go any vibe. You know, when I went to Berlin and I was living in Berlin, I could hear myself doing a dance EDM type track. So
There was some huge news in August. We found out that you will be joining the cast of the Proud Family Louder and Prouder reboot, which is a huge move. So tell us a little bit about the character you'll be voicing, Maya Jenkins. Is that correct, Maya Jenkins?
her name is Maya Leibowitz. And Maya is a really, really dope character. I don't know how much they've revealed about the character, so I don't want to like say too much. But she's super dope. She's adopted. She has a brother. She has 2 dads. But she's just showing the young millennial that cares about something that we often see today that we didn't see back then. You know, so I really love how they've built in a character as representative to the times, you know, and I like her. She's fun, but she's still a kid. She's a kid that's trying to figure out how she can best be helpful when it comes to the things she cares about, because she also can be a bit extreme, which we've also seen with millennials in our era when it comes to finding the best ways to, you know, how to be an activist or how is the best way to go about things and all that kind of stuff. So her character takes us into that realm. And of course, we're around all the same, you know, usual cast of characters. And she and Penny, they have their little vibe, you know, because Maya thinks she know everything, you know, but Penny cool and Penny ain't gonna play. So it's just like, it's a cool thing. For me, it's a dream come true because Kyla Pratt, you know, the same way I'm talking about Queen is how I felt when I met Kyla. I grew up watching Kyla Pratt. And I remember when I first moved to California, I auditioned to be on One-on-One and I didn't get the part. Another friend of mine that I grew up acting with named Ryan Brown, she used to be on this show called Lincoln Heights that was on for a minute. But anyway, Ryan got the role on the show. And I remember being so sad, like, man, I want to work with Kyla so bad. I never got the chance to work with Kyla when I was a kid. Right. So to get to work with her again, to actually get to work with her on, you know, the Proud Family, it's like a double kiss for me because Proud Family is a classic and she's classic. And it's just dope. And Ralph Farquhar, who created the show, he is, you know, I really give him a lot of credit for discovering me. When I first came to, I hate to say discovering me, but I'll say just like, you know, kind of really introducing me to the industry and kind of setting me up to succeed. When I first moved to California, I was introduced to Ralph Farquhar, who created the Proud Families. He also created the Parkers, Moesha, and a bunch of other great shows. And, you know, I met with him and he was like, you know, I think I could write a show for you. And he took me into Disney Channel and got me my first pilot, which was called Just Keke. And, you know, I can't stress enough how unbelievably impactful that was and how Ralph kind of, you know, he was the only person that could do that because first of all, it wasn't a lot of Black shows at Disney, you know, and Ralph, Proud Family was doing good. So for him to take his relationship and open up the door for another little Black girl to get a chance was, you know, again, message. And so, you know, just powerful, you know, and Ralph and I still work together this day, you know, and so it's just really, God is interested, you know, God would show, you know, does little stuff like that. And it's, when I look back, I'm just, wow, I'm very grateful. I can fall to my knees, you know.
Big stuff again for Keke Palmer. You are currently working on an American horror film called Alice, written by Kristen Verlinda. So you are starring in and helping also produce the film. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Alice, I'll tell you, Alice is about, I guess I'll tell you the beginning. So Alice, we begin on this young woman, Alice, that we realize Alice is a slave. We see her outfit, she's on the plantation. And it's kind of that same eerie thing that you always hear in every one of these kinds of movies where it's like, don't go over the sea or don't go cross the river. Because when you do, nobody comes back. And it's this whole thing. And, something ends up happening on the plantation where Alice just has to make a run for it. And she goes through the forest that's surrounding the plantation. And when she gets through, she realizes that, we realize, she doesn't realize, but we, the viewer, realize that it's actually not the 1800s, it's 1970s. And she bumps into this character, Frank, who's played by Common in Proclamation, and the fact that, what freedom is. And what's interesting and what happens there is because when we think about the 1960s and 1970s, there was a lot of stuff happening with the Black Power movement, but there were also a lot of people killed and a lot of people that were, a lot of people that became afraid and kind of were like, whoa, how can we do this? A lot of the Black people were, of course, victimized. Yeah. And it's an interesting thing that happens when you see from Alice's point of view what freedom means, and then Frank's point of view of what freedom means, having been born in a new age and still not seeing any change. Wow. And so it's interesting what happens between them. And ultimately, Alice goes on to try and, of course, avenge her family. And that's pretty much the story.
That is interesting. That's interesting. Like, that's different.
I'm so excited about it. It's really, and honestly, it's an ode, I'll say cinematically, the way that it's filmed, to Black exploitation films. If you've ever seen any of Pam Grier's films like Coffee or anything like that, the beauty and the way that it's representing Black American culture, especially in this era, and just like, there's so many moments where we just, take in Diana Ross and what she meant in that era as far as representation, and Angela Davis. And, it's just really nice to see all that beauty and empowerment. And so I'm excited. And, I know it covers a section in history that can make a lot of people uncomfortable, but I feel like the way that it's portrayed in this film, I'm hoping that it can give people the feeling that I have when it comes to our history, which is, damn, we went through all that and we keep coming back on top with it. It just reminds me that, damn, I come from really strong people, because only the strong could survive this. Like, I get thrilled and riled up when I think about, like, I'm not ashamed that my ancestors were slaves, because we still standing, motherfucker. I had to go in person. Like, they could have just decided to all off themselves and just be done with the bloodline. But they kept going, and we still riding out like this. Man. It's just too much to take in at times. I can't even believe. So that's why I'm very excited about Alice, because for me, it speaks to the way that I feel about that. Like, it can't stop, won't stop. I don't care how tired we get. We that's just how we build. Period. Pooh.
Right. And if one thing tell me after this year that we've had, man, Black people, we are meant for this. Like, we are meant to survive, man. We just meant for it. Because there's no way in the world, like, after the year we didn't have. Man, look, man.
After the dang old lifetime we done had. Man, but what I love about our community is that, a lot of Black people are, I feel bad. And don't feel sad for me, honey, because I've been working on what my ancestors went through. Have you been working on what yours went through? Don't feel bad for me, honey. Work on what you gotta. Yeah. Because there was some dehumanizing that was happening on y'all's end. You might want to reel it in. Reel it back. Also, so you can meet me with my new mind. Okay? Because I'm ready, but you still behind.
Yeah.
Reel it in.
Yeah. So we'll jump right into the student Q&A. So Shy Asia Wiggins asks, what advice can you give us college students that are going through a rough time and trying to find their purpose in life? Oh, man. That is a question.
First one I would say is, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Please, because it's, we have so much. It feels like everything goes so fast. I'm 27 now. I'm probably a lot older than you guys, but for me, it's like, I'm still going to keep reminding myself every day, I got time. I ain't dying tomorrow. When it comes to trying to find your purpose, I would say try as many things as you can try. And, you focus on what you enjoy, because what life is about, thank you for the bless you. What life is about, that I think it's about, is to find stuff that you love that doesn't feel like work, you know, and then blessings pour from that. You know, a lot of times we look at what everybody else does, and it's easy to unintentionally covet and say, I like what they got going on. That's for me. Oh, if that gives you that, then that's for me. And you got to really stop yourself, you know, from being distracted or from your aspirations or things that inspire you, like things that inspire you for somebody else's life. You then try to feel like you need to own them for yours, because everybody's blessings looks different, and you don't want to guide yourself to somebody else's blessings, and then it's not even something that would make you happy. You know, marketing's the point of marketing, you know, and advertising is to make everybody think they need something outside in order to feel happy. But if we can really focus on really what actually does make us happy, and not the high of getting something that makes other people happy, or getting something that's supposed to make me happy, or getting something that other people want, that part of it makes me happy. Like, no, really what makes you happy for real. Because it could be as small as cooking for your mama, and then you realize you gonna run a catering business, and now your catering business is the biggest catering business in the industry. You know, you never know where it's gonna lead to. So really trust what you love and let that guide you.
Victoria Wynn asked you, what was your favorite show or movie to be a part of?
Maybe Hustlers. I felt really cool being a part of that.
Really? Hustlers.
It's like we out here.
Man,
like,
y'all was having fun. I bet y'all was having so much fun on that set.
Yeah.
I wish I was there. Oh my God.
There was so many dope females. Like, everybody was just, it was just crazy that we was all in the room together. B, J-Lo, Cardi, I mean, just every single person, Constance, like everybody was just so dope in their own way. And I love that we were getting to all share that screen together.
Right. I wish you could see it, but we have a poster of Hustlers. I'm gonna see if I can show.
Oh my gosh, what?
There you go. Huh? We ain't playing around here.
Period. I love it.
We ain't playing around here, man. Thank you. Hustlers was great. Great. Last question for you, all right? And then we can go on to the meet and greet with our board. So Emily Allred asked, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years. I mean, in the next 5 years, you know, I would hope to still be doing like some little light little entertainment and stuff like that, and maybe a talk show, something chill like that. And I got kids, maybe. In 10 years, I hope to be like completely behind the camera and running the full business.
There we go.
Management acting company. I would love to be able to, you know, be an acting teacher, a director. You know, in the next 10 years, I hope I really would be able to establish myself, you know, in a way that allows me to have just like a business, you know, and not have to actually, you know, tap dance forever. Although I love it.
For sure. Again, I can't wait till it all comes full circle and you're right behind that camera making. I can't wait for it. I can't wait.
Honey, I need to get behind the Oscars board when I'm 60. That's what you didn't ask me where I was trying to be in 30 years. In 30 years, I'm going to be on the board of the Academy. Love.
I hope you're behind the Oscars board too. But thank you, Keke Palmer, so much. Thank you for making time in your busy schedule to come and speak to me and speak to my school. Again, man, us over here in Virginia, we love you. We have our full support each and every step of the way. Appreciate you.